Okay, we are live. Thanks everyone for joining in. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the Grafana Campfire Community Call, which is the June edition. And in this call today, we got something very interesting, which is not just your normal time series or bar chart or table panel, a panel which is very dynamic and very flexible, I would say, yeah, which allows you to create some visualization or create actually an art. So we are talking about today all for Canvas panel, where we have some amazing people who are joining in today, and we're gonna learn what is Canvas, what we are building, and what the future looks like. And we also have some demos. So yeah, I will start the call by introducing first myself. So my name is Usman Ahmad, and I am a staff developer advocate at Grafana Labs. And actually, I'm part of this Grafana Campfire Community Call, which is cool. But we have two pioneers here who are running the call much longer than me. So David and Matt, maybe you can introduce yourself.
I can certainly have a go. My name is Matt Ryer. I'm a principal engineer at Grafana Labs, currently working on the Assistant project, another AI kind of exciting agentic things there, future machines, which is a very cool area to be working in. I've never used the Canvas panel, so I'm here representing the noobs. I'm keen to learn more about it, and I'll also be trying to be slightly humorous, even though, as like a hero, I'm getting over a cold, as you can hear in my voice. But I don't have a headache, which is lovely. And by the way, if you don't have a headache, like just take a moment and celebrate it, because I only focus on it really when I have a headache. But the best time is when you don't. So I'm just saying, like, take a minute to appreciate that. And that's my introduction to me.
Yeah,
David.
I don't have a headache right now. I mean, I might
Oh,
get one later, but we'll
oh
see what
yeah. I'll
happens,
work.
how
I'll
this
work on
episode develops. Yeah, no, I'm David. I run the Grafana team, and yeah, excited about the Canvas panel essentially since day one. I've already seen a lot of great use cases. And yeah, maybe back to you, Usman, to introduce our guests.
Yeah, definitely. We have some actually today three amazing guests, which is a surprise because we normally have two, but I think this call needs some more attention because this panel is also so amazing. So I start with Adela. Maybe can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Adela. I've been with Grafana for a bit over 3 years now. I've been in the database squad in different forms and shapes. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I've been working on Canvas pretty much since the beginning, so it's been a nice ride. Drew?
Hi, I'm Drew Slobodnjak. I've been on the database squad here at Grafana for just over 3 years, similar to Adela. I've watched Canvas develop over the years and excited to see what it turns into. Over to you, Ihor.
Thank you, Drew. I'm Ihor. I'm a front-end engineer in data visualization squad. I'm about 2 years in Grafana. A bit stuttering, but love talking, and that's why I'm here, and I'm happy to answer any questions about Canvas. Over to you, Usman.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks you for the nice introduction. I think this is the most detailed introduction we have ever get after a long time, which is cool. Yeah, I think we can talk a little bit about Canvas panel. So I think when Canvas panel was launched, I don't know also the history, so I will be along with Matt. Like I'm sort of a newbie. I have used Canvas panel basically by learning from the community, because once this Canvas panel was launched, it was a very big hit in our community. And obviously they were using it, they love it. There are also a lot of questions around it, which I think we will gonna uh, get some answers. But maybe if someone, oh, Matt, you want to say something?
Yeah, I have a question. I think a nice one to
Yeah,
start with. What is the Canvas panel?
that's a good question.
Yeah, what is it? I've got an idea, but who can tell me what that is?
I can try to explain what it is. So, we have our general standard panels, state timeline, time series, but sometimes you just want to do a bit more than that. And a good idea, it's you want to visualize your stories. You want to do a storyline, and you want to do it in a way that can be visualized by others, not just points on a graph. And I think that's how Canvas started, as a great way to overlay your data over something that can be visualized, like a piece of graphics, right?
Yeah, and so it's not quite just an HTML canvas element, is it? It's not as simple as just giving a programmer that.
It's not. It's a bit more than that. We have SVGs, we have HTML clearly behind the scenes, but we do have a scene class which has like a structure, like a tree structure of elements, of connections, and you can do just so many things with that. We have so many use cases out in the wild which are great, and yeah, people have really embraced that.
Nice. So it's like a framework on top of that HTML canvas that people can use to build their visualizations.
Yes.
And it's very user friendly. You can add elements, drag them around, resize them. You can connect them together to create flowcharts and really visualize complex systems, complex layouts. And then, as Adela said, overlay your data on top of that to really get a good intuitive sense of your system.
Yeah, sounds great. And presumably this came from people asking for really specific things that wouldn't make sense to build and have as part of the library, but certainly make sense in their particular case. Were there a lot of people wanting this kind of thing?
I believe so. I think people, they are very creative and they have lots of use cases. And I think initially this started as an IoT use case when, there was the IoT boom, when, everybody wanted, I don't know, a floor plan of a factory or, a shop or something like that. And flowcharting also a big use case that there was need for that. So we responded.
Surprisingly, we have a lot of requests. People want to build tables inside of Canvas, which is kind of controversial, but we are listen for every voice. So yeah.
Yeah, that's something I find cool across a lot of Grafana stuff, is that the community really do influence a lot of what happens by getting involved, building things, and being part of the conversation. I've seen that a lot of examples, and I think that's kind of great, and it's also what helps make sure our tools are relevant as well. So yeah, this sort of, I already now want to go and play with the Canvas tool. Should we learn more about it?
Yeah, I think one question just from my side. Does anyone know like when it was launched? Was it launched with Grafana 10 or a bit more earlier?
It was generally available in Grafana 10, but we had some previews before that.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Should I share the slides now? Is it okay?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is Canvas going beyond standard panels. As we said before, this is not time series. This is not state timeline. This is a bit different. And, in this presentation, we're just kind of go over what Canvas panel is and why it exists, which we already kind of touched a bit on that. We're going to show some cool use cases. We want to talk a bit about the core structure, elements, connections. We're going to touch a bit on the latest features. And, we're going to have a sneak peek of what's ahead. And then we're going to have some time for the Q&A. So why Canvas? As you can see on the right side, that's the first PR for Canvas, which was in September of 2021 by Ryan. We had one element, which was a text element, and it's a storytelling panel. We can drag and drop things around, and I think initially we needed the way to expose explicit content over smaller elements. And yeah, we had it released as an alpha version in 9.5, and it was generally available in Grafana 10, which was, a big milestone for us. And yeah, there are lots of cool use cases of, Canvas in the wild. We have a pizzeria, like pizza ovens and, orders. We have a shop floor. You can even visualize how, your electric car is charging. And, you have your cool factories and cool elements.
Adela, can we just go back to that slide? I just want to have a quick look at that pizza one. I think that one's phenomenal. So that's is that like an image in the background and then the text components layered on top? Is that how that works?
Yes, I think we have a background and then we have a couple of elements. I think the ovens are the elements. We have an animated, unfortunately, this one is not animated, but it is animated in reality. I just cannot be seen on the slide. The pizza is changing like the crust color. It becomes more colored when the pizza is almost ready. We have a timer, and then there's
yeah, that's so good.
People are really creative, and it's really amazing to see what they can come up with.
Sorry. Yeah. No, I'm just also amazed. Like, I think one of the major use case I can see, like, in like if someone is using like in-house electricity, like solar panels, for example, they can definitely use Canvas panel to monitor the usage and everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's really good. And imagine in the pizza shop, then somebody has that on a screen which they're using to track. Also, it's kind of like, great.
Yeah, that would be
built their own custom software just by using the Canvas panel.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we want to talk a bit about the core structure. And as I said before, we have a scene class, which has like a tree structure of all the elements. And, the elements have properties or options, as we say now, background color, text, all these things. You can do, the animations depending on the element type. And, the properties can be fixed values or tied to data, which this is probably the most powerful, ability of Canvas. You can actually tie your data to the elements, and we've tried, we've looked into doing our own logic, but it would just take, well, too much time. So we handle selecting and moving the elements using two libraries, Movable and Selecto, which are really great. And the developer is really responsive, and we've had a really great experience working with him in some cases. Elements and connections. We have two types of elements, standard and experimental. The standard ones are, a rectangle, a triangle, an icon. And then we have a bit more advanced or experimental elements, which, there's a drone, there's a button, there's a windmill. And I think something that we want to mention here, because there's something that has come up a lot in the past, and I think it's still there's still something that people are asking about. It's how can someone add custom elements? And we would love to help with that, but I think people have so different use cases that it's hard to find one element that you want to add to the library that, everybody's going to be happy about. So we strongly encourage people to, create their own elements, make a PR. We are really happy to review, approve, add it to the library. And I know it might be a bit hard to figure out at first how to do that in the code base. And we have, some example PRs, which are actually adding new elements. I don't know, should I share that? I have the link here, but I don't know if people are
Yeah, I think
interested.
you can share on the chat. It should work. Yeah.
So this is cool. So these are like foundational bits that you can just use. The experimental type's interesting. A button. I feel like a button has proven itself by now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And what's interesting about the button, so initially the button, what we tried to do with the button was to allow API calls, which is something new at the time. And what that has evolved into is that right now we've introduced actions, and basically every element that we have can act like like a button, can do API calls, which is, pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah. I mean, this reminds me of when I used to, in the early days when I was building apps, and I would use visual editors like Visual Basic to lay out the forms that you would build as part of your application, and wire them up in similar ways. Take the click action and do something, run some function, and wire up properties in a similar kind of way. So it's very sort of nostalgic as well, I think. Very, very cool.
And just to add to that, I think that's the ultimate vision, is to build an app builder to really allow customization. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I have some trouble joining. Yeah, I have some trouble joining the chat. But if, we can share the PR with the example. And also Drew was nice enough to create a draft developer guide PR, which is kind of goes through the steps that you need to take to create a PR with a new element type. And as I said, we're happy to review and to add it to the library. So I think that's it.
I do have a question. So on this slide, so you mentioned like there are some standard which I believe are already available inside Grafana when someone installs Grafana, but are the experimental are also available as well?
They are, yes, they are. It's just there's a toggle. So they're not initially displayed in the list of element types. There's a toggle. If you toggle the experimental element types, then you will see the entire list with with the more advanced one added.
Cool. Yeah, I think when we come to the section of demo, I think that will be really good to show the audience like how they can see the advanced or the experimental ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Drew, I think you might want to
Yeah,
talk about.
happy to take the next couple slides. If we can go to the next slide, please. Next slide, please. Oh, perfect. So in order to build flowcharts to represent complex systems or workflows, each element actually has a series of anchor points around it that can be connected to one another. Each connection can be modified by dragging its vertex points around. And really this allows you to visualize the flow between elements, whether it's data or physical material, as was mentioned, the IoT use case before. The connections themselves can also be customized and tied to data. So we can change the color, size, radius, direction of the connections, as well as the line style. Do you want dashed lines, solid lines? And you can even animate the connections to help visualize that flow. What you see on the right-hand side, unfortunately, the animation is not showing up here. It's just kind of a peek under the hood at the math and the constraints that go behind connections. Yeah, so next slide. In addition to being able to make connections between elements, you can also customize the graphics in your Canvas panel. So custom images and vector graphics can be used. You can set the background image for the entire canvas as well as individual elements. So as you can imagine, this allows, as Adela mentioned, the user to be as creative as they want. And because Canvas allows stacking and layers of elements, this really opens up a lot of possibilities. So this can be particularly useful if you have a complex system. You have an image of a layout, a map, blueprints, etc., and you want to visualize the state on top of that by overlaying data-driven elements. And then in addition to images themselves, you can also use vector graphics. We have an icon element, and you can use your custom SVGs. Anything that your instance of Grafana has access to, you can render it inside of Canvas panel. So with that, next slide. And Adela, if you want to talk about tooltips and data links.
Could we just go back to the previous slide? Yeah, because I can see the original presentation here, and it's really cool how the little circles around those wind turbines, like they are changing color, right? Like I guess like based on some kind of number, right? And it's such a great way to have just a lot of data really narrowed down into this visual way. I think that's amazing. It's a shame that it's not showing on the screen.
And in fact, if you look very closely, you can see the green dot in the top left corner. So that's actually live streaming data. So that you can really see a smooth update of the state of your system.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, the challenge with this though is once you have that, it's hard to not just look at it all day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think the counter to that is if you're looking, if your job is to look at a dashboard for 8 hours a day, why not look at something beautiful and something that's intuitive?
Yeah. But then also when it goes red, you're like, oh my God, I got to drive 2 hours to this turbine. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, if we can go into the next slide and talk about tooltips, data links, and actions.
Yeah, sure. So part of our latest features, we've made some improvements, on the tooltips that before I think they were appearing only if there was a data link, and the tooltip was only having the data link inside. So it was pretty, bare. And now it includes the element name, the data value, timestamp of the data point, and pretty hard to notice probably in the screenshot here, but this is our standardized tooltip that you can actually see in mostly all of our.
Sorry for really interrupting. Maybe can you please explain the audience like what is a data link?
Yeah, so the data links, we are able to set, to link something to a data point. And it's not a new concept. It's basically, we have it in the standard options. But this is, enabling, clickable interactions. And for Canvas, what's new is that before they were just at field level in the standard options. And what we did was actually move them. I mean, not move them because they still exist at the field level, but we actually added data links at element level, which is something that was requested in the past. And now every element can have a data link, like a clickable action that they can enable drill downs, they can redirect to other dashboards or to other pages, documentation or things like that for each element, which is, I think it's something really great, and it covers a lot more more use cases that people were having. And another thing that's new is the one-click functionality. So if you enable that option for a data link, you can actually click on the element, and that would, interact with the link that you have set. And I think we can show later in the demo. We have a couple of use cases. For example, you can, create a data link that is changing a variable, or you can create a data link that, it's linking another dashboard or linking, an external source. And I think that's really interesting. And another thing that we have introduced in Canvas as well is are the actions, which I think I've mentioned it a bit earlier. Now every element can actually work as a button, can do something, can do an action. It's supported by all element types. It has the one-click functionality, which transforms each element in a button, basically. And when the one-click is not enabled, you can you're gonna see the action in a tooltip, and you can do the action from the tooltip. There's a button over there. I'm gonna show it a bit later. Yeah. And I think Ihor can talk a bit about pan and zoom because he's been working on it lately. And yeah, Ihor.
Thank you, Adela. Usman, maybe I can share my screen because my slides are heavily animated, and it's like a whole point of it.
Yeah, you can definitely share your screen. Just share it, and I will put it on the stage. Yeah, I can see now.
Is it?
I was going to request that.
Animated?
You got to look at the beautiful animation.
Yeah. Good job, Drew. Yeah. Can you see it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I would like to talk about work in progress. It's still in work, but it will be released very soon. We fully re-implement panel zoom. Before it's kind of young panel, and there is a lot improvements to do, and we improved panel zoom. Before it was mostly imitation of panning and zooming, and now we are implemented like full working experience, like you can expect from other kind of products. We have a feature when you can place element relatively to the bottom or right, not only to top and left corner, and this feature will be maintained even with the enabled pan and zoom, because your panel now will represent your frame. It's the place where you can position your element. So when we introduced pan and zoom, nothing gonna change visually for existing use cases. It's important part.
Yeah, so this is really cool. Like, it's really intuitive, the UI, and obviously I've built, like I was saying earlier, I've built kind of things and used tools like this, and it seems really sort of intuitive, the way that you can attach things. Yeah, so that is very cool. It just feels quite natural that you could do that, you know. So I think that's a really good UX there. I like that.
Exactly. It's gonna be like same experience and user don't have to learn it or anything. We also made a few improvements, and one of them is again, it's what you expect. it's expected.
Yeah, but it's
behavior.
But those kinds of problems, I can see. Like, it doesn't sound like it would be easy to just fix that and get it to follow the rotation there. So is that like, did you have to basically rewrite the whole the way that works, or was it just a bug that you could fix?
Exactly. It's like you expect connection stay on the same place, nothing weird happening, and it's just additional improvement.
Just go on the arrow and say stretchy arrow true. I think that's the fix.
I think this is really helpful to like create a flow, because like whenever I even like just using any other like software for presentation, and if I have to draw a flowchart and I just move the element or the box to one place, the arrow always broke. So this is pretty cool. This is definitely a major improvement, like to make this rotation and still it remains intact. Really love it.
We also implement a new feature. We expect that customers would like to build big canvases with all those factories, floors, wind power stations. It can be big, and we added a small toggle, zoom to content, and your elements gonna fit to screen, and you finally don't have to manually adjust your dashboard, or we even have a customer request. It's depending on your screen size. You have different results. It's not gonna be a problem anymore.
Very cool. And again, I can just think of like there's a lot of maths involved in this. I'm sure you're controlling the scale and things, different zoom. I saw it earlier as well when you were zooming in and out. But that's very cool. I'd actually love to read a blog post of Pressure about that. and how you actually did that, because I think that could be very interesting. It's very cool.
It will be. It will be.
Yeah, I think Matt really highlighted it, because having this feature, which are like these are all amazing, and it really helps users who are using our Canvas panel, once they know like these feature also getting ready and will be available in future. Having a blog post especially can help, and especially also the community, because a lot of our Grafana community uses this panel, so they will definitely love it. It will be a big hit.
Exactly. We also have plans to dynamically, programmatically create layouts for specific use cases, dynamic positioning for elements. It's when you already have the data, how to position elements depend on the existing or incoming data, instead of manually dragging or typing the numbers. And of course, there is a plan for ad hoc visualization. We really hope all these improvements are gonna give the second life for Canvas, and we are looking forward for your feedback and questions. So
yeah, it's so good. I think that is really exciting to see some of those things you've got cooking as well. And we should talk separately about the assistant and how that could also interplay, as David mentioned earlier. Yes, very cool. How many people are making games with this? It feels like there's already enough there that you could make games, right?
It's funny that me and Drew have made an effort last hackathon, and it's quite impressive.
We tied it to a live stream database too, so we actually made a sort of a multiplayer game using Canvas, which was interactive and a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, well,
the possibilities are endless.
Where can we play that?
Well, it hasn't been deployed yet, so hopefully in the near future.
We need to. That sounds like a priority.
Definitely can be deployed if on Play, then everyone can play it publicly.
Good point.
Indeed, yeah.
We have 15 minutes before we end. Should we move to Q&A, or there is still a demo which you want to showcase?
Probably we can combine both of them.
Okay, perfect. So I will start posting some questions. So for audience who are joining, we got some question we can ask also on live chat. maybe we not be able to answer everything, but we will try. So I will start with the very first one. Let me just paste it here in the comment. So the first question, how do you start using Canvas panel, as it looks difficult to create links and connection between elements? Any examples?
Adela, did you want to bring up the demo and maybe
Yes.
answer some of these interactively?
Yes, I can do that. Okay. So probably we should start from the beginning, right? How to add the Canvas visualization. So we have a dashboard, we're creating a visualization, and it's a canvas. And by default, we have a metric value element, which, we can select the field. And yeah, we can create a data link, which, as I mentioned on the slides, we can do it at field level. This is a field data link, and I don't know, it's gonna do something. We're gonna open it in a new tab, we're gonna save it. And then let's also create a data link that's just at element level. As you can see, we can select the element, and you have this section of the selected element. And we have all kinds and sorts of, options here. Placement, positioning, background, and we have these data links and actions. We can create this is element level data link, and we can open it in a new tab. And here's the one-click functionality I was talking about, but let's just leave it for later. And in order for the tooltip to appear, so we can see the data links, we have to disable the inline editing. And, there you are. And I don't know what they're to, we'll see.
No, Adela, in those links, you can also add variables to
Yes.
form those.
Yes, I have an example here. Kind of hard to demo everything, but if you see here, we have a data link using variables, and I believe this is element 1, yes. And we can go down here and we can just use the variable. This is, autocomplete. So it's going to work like this. And I have this variable here that we can, okay, do that. And we've changed it. And then, yeah. And what else? I think I lost my new panel, but for connections, if you hover over an element, you can see the connection points, the anchor points, how we're calling them, and you can just drag the connection, link it to another anchor point, just leave it out in the wild, and you have it right here. You can select it, and you're gonna have an option here. Just like you have for the selected element, you have selected connection and different settings. Again, you can have a fixed color, you can color it from your data, and you can have change the direction, the style, you can animate it. And yeah, I think another interesting thing is that you can change the shape, which is also something really interesting and useful, I would say. So yeah, that's pretty much how you start using it. If anyone has, more questions, if you need more in-depth, demos, we're happy to do that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And I think
someone.
Yeah, sorry, Matt, you go ahead.
Well, I was gonna just ask this question. I was thinking the same thing. So the question here is, how to use data links with Canvas dynamically?
Yeah, so as I showed here, we have, these variables that we can tie together, and you can, update a variable or depending on the use case. And the other way is, to link it to a field level data link. And yeah, that's where it's gonna be tied to a specific field and field value.
So for those who do not know what template variables are, I want to draw your attention to the top left of the screen. And those are actually being concatenated inside of the URL for that data link. So, oh yeah, great.
Yeah, so we have them here. So that's.
And then in your data link, you had that at the end of the URL, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it's a basically a query parameter. So let me find it. So we have it var dash series is the name of the variable, and then we have the value. It's going to be dynamic.
So you can use that to link to other dashboards and drive other variables in those dashboards. So you could really you could potentially even drill down into particular pieces of your system.
Yeah, that's very cool. So you can build deep links straight into, say, the drill down apps or something if you wanted to look at specific logs or specific metrics, something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So we do have this question, but this is a very long question, and there was an image. So, but I will read it out loud. So, the question is: I have created a .tsx canvas element of a battery that can be tied to a metric, similar to the windmill element, I think, as an example. How can this be incorporated to a larger library of animated elements for others to use?
Drew, do you want to take this one?
I can take this one. Yeah, so we love the community contributions, and we're definitely excited to try to incorporate those into Canvas. And we hear a lot of users asking for the ability to contribute to Canvas. And as a response to that, we're building out a developer guide to establish some guidelines. And yeah, we look forward to contributions. If you have an interesting, useful element type that you want to share with the community, put up a PR, and we're happy to review it and provide guidance from our side.
Yeah. And oh, we have a live user here, and there's a question. Can we add our own images to the panel directly from visualization instead of saving it earlier in the image or icons folder?
So not currently. Anything the instance has access to with a URL can be pointed to. But if you want to upload an image, there are some exciting new developments in the backend for file storage that Canvas will eventually take advantage of. But in the meantime, you'll need to point to a URL or, as you mentioned, include the image inside of the local instance.
But the URL, that's a good trick then. So all they do is host the image somewhere, and then they can point to that and put that in the canvas. Okay, yeah.
As long as the instance has access, the proper security and all that good stuff.
Yeah, makes sense.
Adela, this dashboard, can we share this link to our audience? Is it public?
It is not. So this one is my local. We do have a couple of dashboards in play, so I can, I can share those ones.
Can we add this one to play?
Of course, yeah.
Perfect. I will share the link, but in the meantime, I think maybe we can take one more question. We still have a few minutes left. Okay. I think this is the most. I don't know if we have already answered. I believe so, but let me paste it here anyway because this is the most high demand question. So the question is it possible to use an animated SVG as an icon in Grafana or in Canvas panel, Grafana Canvas
You can, however, you're not able to customize the color, as was the follow-up question to that. Yeah, that's definitely a great question. I think something we should look into is being able to have more granular control over styling. That's a great suggestion.
Cool.
Can
okay.
you wire up any properties in the SVG to data? Is that going too far?
Not currently, no. Yeah, that's really where I think we could potentially go. Though really, I think in that case, it might be better to break the SVG into separate SVGs and control them as individual icons, because they can be overlaid on top of each other. Yeah.
Yeah, good point. It'd be cool for colors and stuff, but yeah. This is getting to the point where you could really just build completely new things with this. It's really it's fun because when I was young, I was really into computers and I had an Amiga and the interface was very different. So I'd spent time making UI components to make it look like a PC. So it'd like make the taskbar and the buttons and windows and literally draw the lines lighter on one edge so it gave that 3D effect. So I just spent a lot of time doing that kind of stuff. So this feels very nostalgic to me for that reason. And yeah, I'm probably going to make a game though. Probably going to use it to make a game. I don't see how I can't.
Right on. I look forward to it.
I think at GrafanaCon, someone asked me if we had a Visio importer. I think that could be interesting.
That's something that's definitely we've been looking forward to jumping into, is importing draw.io or Visio. One of our previous hackathons, we supported importing DXF format, which is a CAD open format. Yeah, so that's one possibility as well.
I wonder if there's like Mermaid or some other really sort of simple text formats that could be supported, because LLMs would be very good at generating those. So this could be some interesting crossover there.
Yeah, and certainly at the end of the day, all the elements inside of Canvas are JSON. So you could write your own custom script to generate a Canvas panel, potentially.
Well, I think the assistant probably can work with that already then.
Actually, this Friday we're gonna start a new hackathon, and we kind of gonna explore the idea of AI generated canvases. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Cool. I think we are also out of time. Actually, we have only 1 minute or no, but I think this was really fun. I actually learned a lot about Grafana Canvas Pen, and then especially love the new features. What will be, I think the future definitely looks bright here, because the development which we are making here is amazing and community loves it. I think some of our customers also use it. So this is amazing. Yeah, I think that's there we will wrap up today. So thank you everyone for joining and for your time, and hope to see you again in the next community call. From my side, bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.